Yeah.
Mr. Duncan, are you good? Is that cold? Yeah, she's good.
Okay.
Yeah, are you good? Stacy will be good. Okay, it is 6 p.m. on May 13, 2024. I call the May board meeting to order, noting the absence of Ms. Mazurek. If everyone could please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Ready to open the budget hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, I'm opening the fiscal year 2024 amended school budget hearing. I don't have any public comments. Okay. We did the presentation last month, but Dr. Gam does want to note a few differences. I told him we didn't need the whole presentation again because we just did it. But he said the final numbers he did want to kind of comment on just to make sure everyone noticed.
So again, we had the finance meeting last week, 2 weeks ago. Tempus fugit, I believe is what they say in Latin. At that time, the amended budget was a little bit, different than it is now. Just for reference, you can find this exact same presentation on the website as I promised on the finance meeting. The budget increase from the actual to the amended was an increase of about $500,000. Please remember you had a $560,000 HVAC payment this year that you were did not expect to do. So that means if you were to take that out, you are $60,000 under budget in terms of expenditure or revenues. Expenditures, you have an $800,000 increase in your expenditures. I said expenditures twice. Revenues was $500,000 more. Sorry, expenditures were $880,000 more. If you take out the 5.6, you're actually $300,000, and that's including some title increases. Remember, if you do a title grant or if you do your ESSER grants, you do have to claim that as part of your expenditure. It's also part of your revenue. Your deficit that you adopted was $414,000. Your actual amended deficit was $721,000. That's where I can give you the good news. So sorry, the $560,000 payment is included in that $300,000 increase. So hypothetically, if you did not do HVAC, which I, again, glad you did, you would actually only be $200,000 deficit this year, as opposed to $414,000. That's where I meant to give you the good news, not the first slide. So I apologize. If you looked at the finance meeting, that was actually $860,000. So again, after the final month, we're able to clean up all the rest of the expenditures we didn't go through, and that is a much cleaner number. So $721 is your deficit, and then like before, there's kind of your extra overages. Primarily being your title grants, your IDEA grants, your ESSER grants. Those rollovers come over from year to year, and again, if you don't spend it, you lose it. Tonight there's a technology purchase that Mr. Duncan brought forth for Chromebooks because we got a $67,000 digital equity grant, which again would be this year, so that is in here as well, but it's offset the expenditure and the revenue. So when you see something change, those are the kind of things that happen in a given year. That is my presentation again.
Any questions, comments, concerns? No?
We are on track to be in the black next year. Oh, and I'll say it one more time for the general public as well. This does not include a $2.1 million bond. We're not allowed to claim that as revenue. So it's not within the scope of the revenue. It is in the budget that is in front of you, but cannot be deemed revenue.
Okay, I'm going to close the fiscal year 2024 amended school budget hearing. Noting I have no public comment for this May meeting. going to move on to the approval of board minutes. I need a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of April 8th, 2024, and the Finance Committee meeting minutes of April 23rd, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Belt.
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Flickling.
Yes.
Piachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I need a motion to approve the executive session regular meeting minutes of April 8th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Flores.
Yes.
Flickling.
Yes.
Piachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, I need a motion to approve the May 2024 expenses as submitted.
So moved. Second.
Flickling.
Yes.
Piachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up is the treasurer's report.
All right, exciting stuff.
Love me some Mike Peters.
The balance in the super now account at the end of April was $2,664,147.65. Outstanding checks total $27,573.47. We had April payroll expense carryover of $81,147.53 and one IMRF adjustment for 12 cents, leaving the adjusted bank balance at $2,555,426.53. Lunch program balance, $115,520.71. Impressed fund, $5,000, leaving the balance at $2,675,947.24. The investment account balances at the end of April were $5,302,505.84, leaving the balance of all district funds as of April 30 at $7,978,453.08. April receipts totaled $805,202.73. Expenses, $1,188,597.86. The individual fund balances at the end of the month: education fund, $4,043,498.33. Building fund, $1,796,184.27. Bond and interest, $17,937.50. Transportation fund, $893,770.05. IMRF, $57,371.94. Working cash, $267,426.45. Tort fund, $324,002.25. And life safety, $578,262.29. Interest in April earned was $12,663.40. That rate has stayed the same. Good thing. The state of Illinois made some following distributions. In April, we had quite a few. State aid, $314,122. Special ed transportation, $55,021.67. Special ed orphanage, $14,881.50. Regular transportation, $92,777.49. School lunch program, $14,968.59. State free lunch, $114.60. Maintenance grant, $50,000. Title IV grant, $10,465. ESSER grant, $2208. IDEA flow-through grant, $90,781. IDEA preschool grant, $1,739. Title I grant, $52,022. Title II grant, $2,177. And driver ed reimbursement, $1,456.98. And we don't have any real estate distributions yet. They're coming though.
Soon, a couple weeks.
I need a motion to approve the May treasurer's report as presented.
So moved. Second.
Piachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Flickling.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next up is our guests. Mr. Meyer.
Ms. Chauvin, would you like to talk about your wonderful mathletes? And then whenever you're finished, we can have them come up and I can give them their certificates.
Okay.
That would be great.
First of all, thank you for inviting us to the meeting tonight, and recognizing my athletes. Start with freshman Katie Gregory. She joined this year. She would like to stay with us, and I'm looking for good things next year. She's had 3 perfect papers at the contest. Let's see, Linnea, sophomore, right? Only sophomore graduate. She had perfect papers last year also, and I'm hoping that she'll be doing more next year. I have her in class, and nice to have her in class. Nick Flores started this year. He joined our, we kind of said, hey, you gotta join it, be with us. And he's done a lot for us and everything. He went to state this year also, so hopefully next year we'll go back to state there. Annika, another one of our juniors, she's been on since freshman year. She's had perfect papers, she's done, who has perfect papers? I don't know, And then, let's see, my seniors. First of all, Hank Kevin joined us junior year on the team. He's part of the team that went to state the last 2 years. The rest of my seniors that are here is Nathan Dachenko, Ethan Tomasano, the Moores up here, Ethan and Hayden.
Stand up.
Stand up. Yes, Penny's a junior. These 5 here, I knew freshman year they were special, and we had that COVID year, and we had to do a lot of things a little differently. And I did not get the pleasure of having for kids, for students, until they were juniors. So I knew them coming out that way. But I want to find a way to keep them for a 5th year. So if you have something in the plans there to do a super senior or something, I would appreciate that.
They don't have to prove their graduation on Friday.
Yeah, just wait. Both Ethan, Nathan, Tomasano, they all did orals, which is hard to do because you have to get in front of 2 judges, usually college professors. They have to present four problems they got just 10 minutes before. Prior to that, they may have to learn new material altogether. So to get them to do all that, I think that's very good. So I'm hoping that some of the people coming up will try some of that. Maybe my one sitting down here may try some of those. Get involved. I think it helps too that some of them are in drama club. I think it helps that they're up in front of people all the time, so that helps. Our math contest, the Beecher math contest, we've had 51 years. It's even longer than the state contest. We've been hosting this. We got second. We're trying to find a way to beat Gardner. Haven't found a way to figure that out yet. That way we give them a run contest date, something like that. Our receiver came in second. And state, I took 17 students down to state. We were 3 questions away from getting in the top 10 for pre-cal. We're right there. Last year, these students were in the top, they got the 10th place in Algebra 2 team. And Hayden Moore got the 10th individual paper at state. Their 8-person team got 7th place. So they've done lots of this year. So thanks for inviting us. We do appreciate it.
Great job.
All right, now you get to come up, get a certificate, and then stand up in here and we're gonna get a picture. Mr. Chenko, Mr. Flores, Ms. Gregory. Ms. Kelly? Kim?
Stand by your kids. They're gonna be tall.
Or should we go on the next side? I know.
Maybe we should go sit in these seats.
Yeah.
Maybe they should. Or should we just go?
Okay, so I think we're gonna get like the tall guys in the back, and then the tall people in the back, shorter people
He
in the
wants to
front.
stand on our chair then maybe?
Walk backwards until you feel a table. Please don't fall on the table.
If you are one of the sponsors in this fabulous picture.
I know, and you speak.
Alright, so my front row, we gotta squat a little bit because my board members aren't.
Sorry, we're very short. We thought about, do we need to go in front of them? And would you rather have us just go in front of them? Because we're probably like everyone is gonna be sitting there.
Hayden is, oh. Fantastic. Get
on the chair, get on the chair.
Yeah, then I fall, there's a working comp and it's on camera, oh, I'm not that silly. Alright, I think I got everybody. Parents, give you a minute, I promise I'll be on your way. Alright, parents, go for it.
I need to get one. Send it to me.
So I will provide Mr. Duncan those pictures, and if you go to the website under the school board, you'll see the pictures Right there.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
And when they talk about what places they get, you should have seen the amount of people at state. I mean, Libby, it was
Where y'all
at
going?
Libby's college. Bye. It was at Libby's college, and she said she has never seen so many people in the student center at one time. It was crazy, the amount of kids that were there.
Where was it at?
It was at ISU.
Oh, I.
All right.
Everyone. Okay, next up are staff reports, starting with Miss Black.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Graham asked us to mostly just talk about changes to our handbook, so I'm going to run through, kind of divided some of the things up that are the same, so you don't have to hear the same thing 3 times. One of the first things that I am proposing to change is water bottles. I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to read through all of that. I know it sounds a little bit.
I Googled whenever
I know, and I know it sounds a little bit, I don't know, petty is maybe not the right word, but I promise you, just every morning since I have said this, I walked down the hall this morning, there was a gigantic spill of water in the hallway of cups that we as adults do just fine handling, but the kids, they fall over and there's water everywhere. So that was the first thing that kind of had me thinking about it, was just the water spills in general. And also, especially, well, unfortunately, some of the 4th and 5th graders take advantage of the fact that when we can't see in them, what they're actually putting in them isn't always water. So, clearly, I mean, no one's drinking anything.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
Pop,
that.
soda,
Kool-Aid,
cola.
stuff like that, throughout the day, so.
Sugary, which also doesn't help with bugs.
Exactly, so I did actually purchase some water bottles. I looked at some different ones on Amazon. I put them on our PBIS cart because the kids, I try to make some of that stuff not all annoying to parents and teachers. So I have lots of school, things they can buy and they love using at school. So I have had the water bottles that I was looking at for next year on there for a little while to see how the kids use them and make sure they don't spill and they last and all of those things. Also, I thought it would be nice, I'm going to, so long as I can do this, I'm going to offer the parents, they're only a few dollars, they're like $3 or $4. So I can purchase a whole bunch of them, they can order them ahead of time, they don't have to try to find them in the store and look for the right one. So I thought that would be helpful as well. Also, tardies. It's been weighing on my mind for a while that it can be difficult to assign consequences for elementary age students on tardies when lots of times it's the parents who are the ones who are in charge of getting them to school. So I do still have some follow-up as far as having our social worker reach out, myself reaching out, and then having the SRO also reach out. So it's not like there's, we're letting it go unchecked, but it's hard when a 5-year-old comes in and it's not necessarily their issue with being late. So I'm trying to see what else. Oh, the other thing that I looked at, the academic dishonesty. Even though the 3 of us try to go through our handbooks and make everything as consistent as possible, things come up and we realize that the wording isn't exactly the same. So this is one of those areas where we just wanted to be more consistent with that. So a lot of my step 3, mine was broke down a little bit, just had like more specific consequences. And it's kind of like, I like that the wording is a little bit more vague because sometimes cheating isn't such a big deal depending on what they're cheating on, and sometimes it can be a much larger deal. So not necessarily having a set consequence for number 1 when, it could be a final project that they've been working, 2 months on. So I looked at their wording, took some of that, and then adding the AI kind of stuff. Did anyone have any other questions about any of my proposed handbook changes? Anything else in my report?
Why were there no straws allowed on water bottles, that's, I was.
Because they're still open, so like when they fall over,
They're still open?
well, right, because if that were to fall over and the kids don't notice it, it's just
Uh-huh.
leaking water everywhere,
Okay.
so. Okay, all right, thank you.
Dr. Bosney.
Everyone. First, before I go over our handbook changes, I just wanted to congratulate, we had 6 young ladies who competed in sectionals this past weekend, and they are advancing to state, so we're really proud of them. We have 1 in 800, and then 4 with an alternate in the 4x4 relay, so we're very excited for them to compete this Saturday in Peoria. Okay, moving on to the handbook proposed changes. The first one I wanted to go over is our promotion policy. As of now, you only have to pass a minimum of 2 quarters in reading, language arts, and math. So we thought that that was not challenging enough for the students, and we really wanted to hold them accountable to do better. And so we are now proposing that the students pass at least 3 of the 4 quarters in not only math, language arts, and reading, but also social studies and science. So we think that's really gonna, improve and help the students grow and focus. I think it will also help with behavior. I think sometimes they think that only those 3 classes are important. Social studies and science are not as important. So, and as we know, there's a lot of cross-curricular instruction that goes on in science and social studies. So that's one of the main things that we wanted to have students held accountable for all those subject areas, and also have the standards a bit higher as well. Right now, we have just 1 or 2 students who are not meeting the current requirements, so I do think it's going to be a bit of a shift next year, but I think if we start off letting the students know and communicating that the standards are higher, I hope to have, students right off the bat reaching those goals. The next one is assessments. So we do not do semester exams at the junior high. We do formative and summative assessments, and the summatives are like at the end of the unit. That's what we do, and that's worth 70% of their grade. So it was in there, but it wasn't really being followed. So that's what I wanted to just take out the semester exam part. And then lastly, I wanted to add an AI component for the academic dishonesty. It is covered in there if you look at our policy, but it's not specifically stated, and we've had some problems recently with that, so we just wanted to pinpoint that. That part I did not actually have in my proposal to all of you, so I'm hoping, the elementary had it in theirs and the high school has it in there, so I'm hoping that that would be okay to just add to ours as well. Did anyone have any questions? Thank you.
And the key to that, you're good. The key thing that we talked about was obviously that communication piece. I mean, if you're gonna change something, especially going from 2 to 3 quarters of passing, that communication piece, before you could almost wait a quarter or 2 before you have that open conversation. Now it's quarter 1, we're hitting the ground running, so.
Mr. Meyer.
Hello, I only have 1, I've got the attendance. This is a big shift. Don Compton kind of took the reins along with our truancy officer from Will County and the social workers on, I don't want to say overhauling, but changing quite a bit of our attendance policy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Gam, the state doesn't care if they're excused or unexcused. When you get to a certain number, you get to a certain number and they expect your truant. So we might as well just bite the bullet, and we are going to get rid of those 5 parent medical, in terms of you could call in 5 times for free and we didn't care. And then after that, if you used all those up, then we would start asking for doctor's notes, etc. So that will be gone. So we'll still have the 5 mental health days because that's a law. Even though, again, the state doesn't allow us to call those excused, it counts against us as a school district, but we will still keep those 5. Now, with this protocol is we're going to have some checks all the way through. So at 5, no matter if they're excused or unexcused, you're going to get an email, okay? At 7, then we'll have the social worker come in. Hey, what's going on? Everything fine? Just checking in on it, okay? Then it goes to 10, 12, and 15, and you can read all those. But the big picture when we get to 15, if we've gone through, we've had the SRO go, we've done a couple letters, the social worker has talked to you, but let's say 5 of the 15 are a vacation you took, you've taken 2 mental health days, and so you've really missed, whatever, 6 or 7 days. We are going to look at this and say, hey, this is a family vacation, no, they're not truant. You know, we're gonna look at their grades, so I'm gonna look at their grades. If they're all caught up and everything is great, there is some discretion when we get to 15. We're not gonna bust everybody out at 15, depending upon their circumstances. So this is not, it's down here, but it's not etched in stone in terms of, yes, we're gonna do this exactly at 15. It depends. It depends because we do have some students that will go to Mexico for 2 weeks, 3 weeks for whatever, for that family stuff. So we are flexible within this 15-day new protocol. We still have the prearranged absences. I didn't, the way you fill out the paperwork, where we know that you're going to be gone. We put the excused absences in here. We took out the unexcused because it can go on and on and on and on and on. So let's just put the excused ones and let's just go there. Okay, so that's kind of what we put and left there. Again, vacations, we have in bold, not considered excused absences unless prearranged, but again, we work with our families. We hope that we have gained some trust with our families. But that's kind of the big thing. Definitely the big, just like Dr. Gaham said about Dr. Kwasny's academic rigor, parents are going to call, even though they've heard it from you, even though they've heard it from me, even though we'll send out, whatever communication over the summer. What do you mean we don't have these anymore? Well, we don't have these anymore. So we'll have the 5 mental health, but we won't have, that's kind of the big thing. But again, state doesn't care, excused, unexcused, you're gone. So we just tried to get a little bit closer. And correct me if I'm wrong, I thought the truancy officer really wants to be involved, wants to be a huge part of things where the past few years, it's like Beecher's in Will County kind of question. So I should say the last few, at least my first few years, definitely the junior high. But yes, she's met with a couple of our, she's been really good. She's worked with one of our toughest cases. So she's really helped us out. That's the main thing I wanted to talk about in terms of the attendance. Anything else? JCA softball. They are hosting, but now they're not hosting. It's going to be at Lewis University in Romeoville. So that was a change, I think, is it today or yesterday that they changed it? I think Mr. Bush just told me today. So that in my packet, it says we play at JCA, et cetera, for softball. It is at Lewis University, because I think it's turf, just in case weather's bad in Romeoville. So I'm going to lead you astray with that.
Did any decision come up, or is it too new, about graduation and soccer? No? Okay.
I mean, I don't control when they play, and the state kind of has a, we asked softball this year, because we didn't control it, if they would be flexible. They ultimately chose the 18th, so they were flexible. But like track, if Erilyn would have been in a different a different race, she might have had to run on Friday. She runs on Saturday. It's just.
And it's the same thing that happened at the junior high with the boat trip. I mean, the state determines when these events are. It's not us. So when we put something on a boat trip, it's not like we called the state and said, hey, can you really make our lives difficult by putting it on here? We can call, we can request all day long, but the state has the final say so.
If they win tomorrow, they'll play Friday night.
They do 6:30.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just plug that off.
I didn't know.
I think it's more, I mean,
It was
it's a
newer,
decision,
so
but
I didn't know if
like
it-
I said, I mean, high school graduation is wonderful, but an opportunity to continue with your team to move along in state, I think, is a bet, but I'm not making the choices. But, I don't know, I think we have 3 soccer players, 3 seniors. Oh, 4.
No, like
I forgot
5 or
4.
6.
No, I forgot 4. Say the Killises, Fabi, and Saffron. There's only 4 I can think of right off the top of my head. But yeah, you may be right. So, yep. Anything else? Oh, thank you. Anything?
Twisted an ankle there, Mr. Meyer.
Dr. Gahan.
So as has been kind of custom for me to do the last couple board meetings, most of my talking points I've added at the very end as other discussion items. But again, I sent a message out to the community. I put it on my blog. Is that what we call it now, Joe? My blog? Online, my post. I'm now updating that a lot more often. Thank you to both the Booster Club for the 2 baseball and softball signs. They look phenomenal. One of them was even, one of the old ones was donated to Sit and Bowl. So if you are a frequenter of Sit and Bowl, you'll see one of our old signs there. And I don't know if they have it up here or not, but we've given it to them. The other one's being disposed of tomorrow. And thank you to Mr. Hurley in 3 Electric for getting both those signs up. He came out with a crew on Saturday and got them both up for us. So Mr. Du Bois set up apparently there was a single network, so actually Brandon could control Coach Hayhurst's sign at the same time. We thought that probably would be a bad idea, as Coach Hay is pretty serious about some softball stuff. So he was able to create a secondary network, so everything is completely separate. We did keep the single network as well, so if like there's a state softball game and we want to like kind of have it on both scoreboards at the same time, we can still have that ability. So that was pretty cool. I'm going to say it now, but I'll say it at the end. The high school drive, I sent a message out to the community. I've actually talked to the police department. We've had an officer sitting at the end of the drive every day for the last week. He's caught one person going the wrong direction. He pulled that person over, had a very friendly conversation with that citizen. And so we are trying to get better at that directional stuff. I've already talked to Mr. Stanula. When we do get that seal coated again, we're going to stripe it back to angle parking, so that will help us out with that as well.
What, arrows? Like when the asphalt, like arrows?
Sure. You can always
They're
figure it
pointing one way. 2 arrows pointing one way.
out. So fun story.
3 arrows, however many arrows we need.
Tell that story, please.
I'll take out the language. When Mr. Meyer and I were standing outside at the stop sign, and during dismissal, watching kids, making sure buses do whatever they have to do. About 4 or 5 minutes afterwards, he and I were standing there, and a person pulls in from Miller Street, pulls up to us, politely
Correct.
asks us, gee, gentlemen, who I greatly appreciate for all the work that you do at the school, why in the good Lord's name would you have it going the wrong direction? When I was at school, it was a 2-way. All that was friendly banter, by the way, and then took off again. Almost got sideswiped by somebody backing out, looking obviously this direction, not towards him. Apparently my memory isn't good enough because I didn't get the full license plate number. I called the police and said, there's a very nice gentleman in a very specific vehicle, if you could find him. So it was a great interaction. I was very happy with that, and as you can imagine, that may or may not have been the crux of my anger. So we're getting it fixed. We have not.
We've had support from the police.
100%.
Great job the last couple days.
Officer Hancock's been out there a couple days. Officer Drew was there the first day. Some days they are sitting right there in the middle of the drive.
I've seen them.
And some days he's hiding in the bushes with binoculars. So we've asked him to do both. By the way, when he pulled the person over, he was in plain sight. He was not in the bushes in the binoculars. That person literally drove by the officer going the wrong way. So it's kind of hard to look the other way on that one. And then lastly, the email for clear, not clear, was coming out tomorrow. We were finally we had a little snafu, we got it all figured out, we got it fixed. So tomorrow, parents will obligate, congratulations, through the clear system, your residency has been approved. And then it says, please wait for your SNAP code to come out in July. Or your residency has not been approved through clear, or you are a new student, new as in within the last, was our benchmark, like 2 months, 3 months. If you registered within the last quarter for sure, you're not cleared because we obviously haven't been able to verify your residence. So the email's coming out tomorrow. Oh, and we had 0 FOIAs. Thank you, Ms. Flores.
Okay, next is committee updates. Does PTO have anything?
Their meeting is tomorrow. So all I have right now is that I know last time I spoke with them, they were toying around the idea of paying for all of this same size Kona Ice from the Kona Ice truck for all the students, so everybody has a chance to get one instead of, some kids get them, some kids don't, because their parents don't get money or whatever. I don't know if that was final, but that's all I got for now.
Remember the lunch tables we had talked about with potential? I'm not sure if I brought this up. this is since the last board meeting, right? We had a school district donate 12 of those to us. And so we have completely revamped all the lunchroom tables, so next year we won't have to worry about the fold-ons and everything. So that's all, we're good.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have put that in my report.
I think you did it sometime.
Probably,
Like,
sounds
and
like
I remember
something I
hearing
would
about
do.
it.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, even though you kind of did the Booster Club update, but is there anything else for Booster Club?
Just thank you to everyone for all the support of the year. There is a video out on their Facebook page that was completed, so it kind of sums up the year and some ideas, and look out for next year. So if people want to go on the Facebook page for the Booster Club, they can see so a recap video that was made. But the signs are fantastic. Baseball got to at least play one game. Fingers crossed we play more.
Well, we will be hosting a sectional game one way or another, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be used at least once more.
The scholarship committee, did you guys finalize? I'm guessing those are gotta be close to done anyway.
Yes, we did finalize, and they will be told on graduation.
I'm sorry, what?
He said yes?
Graduation?
Yes.
What about it?
The scholarships, or the be announced on
Yes, I will
graduation,
say
yes.
yes,
Yep, yes.
Chamber of Commerce, do they have anything?
Oh, nothing new. They will be hosting the village-wide garage sale.
Yeah, garage sale. It's coming up in
June.
June.
It's the first weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna say first weekish, June-ish.
Some June-ish.
Carvers didn't have a whole lot of new from last month, like I did a big old thing last month.
Yeah, there is the new resolution, when we get to it, I'll explain it, but it's simply because St. Anne's consolidated. That's why that's it.
And then the Education Foundation, probably not after they have a lot.
Actually, I had sat down with them because I've been, a liaison for a couple months and just kind of absorbing and taking it all in. So they humored me at the last meeting and talked about kind of the review process and things like that. So at least I had a better understanding, so I could be a better liaison between the school and the foundation. They did they put out some scholarships, or a scholarship as well, and then talked a little bit more about their process, what kind of things they want to see brought to them by the teachers and the school staff. So, that'll be a conversation how to get that information to them, to have them donate some items to the school.
And maybe that's like an Institute Day thing that you could pass on to admin, like, this is the kind of criteria of how you could reach out to them and everything like that, just so everyone's aware, because that's all in one room, that's
We
probably
already
the
have some
easiest
things in
way.
the works to be asking for, so yep,
Yes.
100%.
And then, since Ms. Mazurik isn't here, I've seen on Facebook that she usually talks about the Beecher Youth Commission, and since that was kind of an area of mine, they're gonna have a kickoff to summer on June 1st as well.
Yes, at Fireman's Park, correct?
Put that out.
With food and inflatables and all of that, right? Okay, that's what I saw too.
I forgot something very important in my superintendent report, and I am now 15 minutes late to telling this. Today is my daughter's 13th birthday, it's her golden birthday, so Donna, if you're watching this, happy birthday. I was late on that,
She is so mad at you, probably.
I'm sorry. That's why her mom's her favorite.
Right. Okay, next up is executive session. So I need a motion to approve entering executive session for the purpose of 5 LCS 120-2 C1 and 5 ILCS 120-2 C11.
So moved.
Second.
Piachenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores,
Yes.
Flickling. Yes. Motion carried.
Well,
Are
we
we
got the
good?
thumbs up
Okay.
from Joe Duncan.
Okay, at 7:08. Oh, wait.
Okay, now you're
I was gonna say, I had some up. Okay. It is 72 thumbs up. It's 7:08 on May 13th, back for the May board meeting. First up is old business. So we need to approve the fiscal year 24 amended budget that Dr. Gahan went over earlier. So I need a motion to approve the fiscal year 24 amended budget as submitted.
So moved. Second.
Piachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Flores. Yes. Lickling. Yes. Motion carries.
Next up is our Arbor Management Food Service Contract.
So we obviously went out for bid. Everything for the state is copacetic, and their bid is actually the exact same amount that we paid this past year. They did not increase, which I was very happy to see. They are our current food service contractor, and looks like we're gonna have them for many years to come.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the Arbor Management Food Service Contract as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Flores. Yes. Lickling. Yes. Piachenko.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next is our janitorial contract.
I talked about this at the finance meeting. It is a company called Citywide. We had, actually, everybody that we bid on this project, we had them go to 181 days instead of having them for 240 or 260. So this company, but we did ask for a stipulation that we can extend into the summer with a separate, with an additional contract. This company by far was the lowest, and everyone that I called referenced, spoke very highly of them. So we're very happy to move forward with this company next year.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the BES BJHS janitorial contract as submitted.
So moved. Second. Herman.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Flores. Yes. Lickling. Yes. Piachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next is the math curriculum, the junior high. Decided on?
Yep, so Dr. Kwasny talked to you guys last board meeting about it. She had a parent meeting with everything. That is the curriculum that the district, primarily the junior high, chose, and so there's your proposal.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the junior high Savas Envision math curriculum as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Belt.
Yes.
Flores. Yes. Lickling. Yes. Piachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Ms. Black, you're having one for your math curriculum
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Send out the notice.
So the elementary's doing their curriculum night for math adoption on Wednesday.
Okay. And then next up would be the purchase for the star benchmarking with the Freckle.
Yep. So STAR is what we've been using for benchmarking for years. So we added an English add-on called Freckle. We are actually getting that covered for the first year through the Title I grant. And so that's why it's on this fiscal year, not next, so we had that money in there to compensate for, so.
And we're actually gonna have our summer school teachers are using it and piloting it, so they'll kind of be some experts who will be able to get everyone get trained, but they will have used it.
It seems like there's a lot. I looked into it after I talked to you just because we got the free trial too. And I had the kids like kind of do the diagnostic. It's kind of nice. The kids enjoyed it, but it was very overwhelming. Like starting to look how you could design things and do things.
Yeah, and right now, we used the benchmarking part already, and then we were using IXL to give the kids a pass, so it was like they were having to do 2 different diagnostics and going through different programs to kind of get their individualized program. If we can do it with STAR, which we're already using the benchmark, it's
Hopefully easier, yeah.
Full transparency, Ms. Black is actually going to be asking the foundation for the math portion of it. Because we are a Title I school, we can get the reading portion covered. So she's asking them for the math add-on from the foundation, so hoping for good things there.
Does this mean we will be transitioning out of IXL for this? At least at the elementary level? Okay, okay. Need a motion to approve the elementary school STAR benchmarking with Freckle add-on as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Flores.
Yes.
Lickling. Yes. Piachenko.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Belt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next up is our new business items. First up is the new Chromebook iPad protection plan that was in our docs. I don't know if anyone has any questions or concerns for We want to talk about that?
I thought it was reasonable.
Joe did a really nice job of changing some of those prices to where they are today's. And the community should thank Joe Duncan because he's the one that really convinced me to bring it to you, that kind of the wave of the first screen fixing. So Joe was a big proponent of that, so I want to thank Joe for his work on that.
Did we have a lot of broken screens? Like kind of through this year? Has it toned down a little bit since we've had them a couple of years? Have you noticed?
I don't think it's went down at all. I would almost say maybe it's went up. We definitely repair multiple screens per week. So that's district-wide, so I'd say there's almost a screen broken close to every day.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe one every 2 days, so, but there's a lot of them. But this definitely gets us aligned more with what it costs now and still providing the benefit to the community for those who need it. So we're just trying to align the costs as best we can.
And it works pretty well, like feasibility wise, like would it be worth trying to look into like maybe a better protection on it? I mean, if you're talking like one a day, or is that the insurance just covers it where it's good enough?
I have heard all different things. So some don't use, some districts do not use cases. They just say the extra cost, it's almost like half the screen anyway,
Yeah.
so just let it be. Other districts use always on cases, which are like clamshell hard snap-on cases. And the majority use an always on case. I hear through the forums, everyone has their own opinion. I don't really know. I like the case because they can kind of carry it around and holds their charger and everything, but I'm not really sure. The jury's kind of out because every district has their own experiences. So it might be different depending on the community, your pool people who are using it.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure, was it adequate enough? Like after we're using it, we're still having a bunch of broken issues. Is that something maybe we need to look into, getting a better case?
Yeah, so we do actually have new cases this year, which are more reinforced, and they have an asset ID tag, window in them, and they fit in more snugly. So we're always trying to optimize like every year. So we think we found the best one we've had so far. So that one should provide better protection. That's what we try to do every year. We were going with the same case for 2 years, and since we switched this year coming up, hopefully we'll be better off. We'll have to see.
Okay.
We do have data we gather, so we actually have statistics. We were able to have our first year of data, and we'll be able to compare that data next year.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve the new Beecher 200U Chromebook iPad protection plan as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Whitman? Yes. Diachenko?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Herman?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Flores?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next up, we have the fee schedule conversation we kind of need to have because we had some decisions that we made last April. And then we kind of need to talk about if we're going to stick with that decision or if we're going to waive it, right?
Correct, and again, I apologize to the finance committee. It's not an excuse, I have a lot of things going on, but I forgot that conversation happened last April. But the finance committee at that time, which was Ms. Belt and Mr. Herman, when I proposed it to you guys, it was a $40 increase across the board, and then some of the other minor things that you guys moved forward with. And then at that time, in April, the finance committee said it seems like a $40 seems like a big jump, but they would like to commit to a kind of a 2-year $20 increase. And at that time, I said it was the right statement. That was an old board. You could agree to that all day long, but once the new board comes in, which is what you guys are now, it is your decision the second year. So the plan back in April of 2023 was to do a $20 year one, $20 year two, and get everybody to the second fee schedule I provided you. That is up as 100% your discretion if you want to do that, or whatever you want.
And that was the discussion we had that last year, was just because we were also kind of raising the sports fees and making the cap, as we were trying to make it not as such a burden on the families. But we really did need to raise it $40 to even get just kind of sort of where we needed to be. And then we could take another look and see, okay, is this adequate based on what our expenses are? We need more information for that. What are we prepared to you know, what Peaton's doing, what Grant Park's doing. I mean, we can't compare to some of the bigger schools, but we were just so far behind because we hadn't raised fees in so long, and we just didn't want to do it all at once.
Well, are we covering what we need to with this increase?
So, you talking about with the additional 20? Or with
Yeah,
the
like
last one?
how we were, yeah, so like we were increasing 20, like, how is the pay? Are we paying
So-
for what we're supposed to be paying with that money?
So, yes, we're able
Or
to, we're catching up, yes. The big difference is, back in the day, it was, you know, everybody, there were 6 textbooks that every kid covered in brown paper and took home and things like that. The difference is now it's all technology based.
Right.
But to tell you that the $50 technology fee covers all of that, it primarily covers the Chromebook. The additional $20, no, it doesn't cover all the additional licenses that we have and all the extra things that we are currently doing.
Because that's what it's supposed to cover.
Right.
And classroom school budgets and.
Yeah.
So we're not covering it yet.
No, and to be honest with you, another
Will we
$20,
ever-
yeah, it's never gonna happen, but we're not out here to make a profit. We're just trying to make it to where we're not, every year, hey, community, we're stuck. And so, when I did it, I think when I proposed it a year ago, it was a $40,000 increase to the total budget, again.
With the 40?
That was 40, yeah.
With-
Yeah,
no, with the
with the 40, yeah, it's basically
Yeah.
10,000 per. And so we actually saw roughly a $25,000 increase with that $20. It's in a $17 million budget, $20,000 doesn't seem like a lot, but it all adds up. Yeah.
Those curriculums are 47,000, so
Yeah.
that helps.
Yeah, and we're on a schedule to where those are getting now, again, you know, that was it before. Maybe we weren't on a schedule with updating the curriculums, we didn't have the Chrome, now that we're getting kind of on that, our costs are more. And just little things kind of keep us from getting back to where we were.
And this helps us from nickel and diming people.
Yeah.
You know, some school districts, they do, your social studies book is $5, you know, we don't do that, it's just kind of all.
You don't want to not do anything, and then in 5 years, here's another $100.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
well, that's why I think it wasn't raised for so long, and that's why we're like, let's try to raise it in
Yeah,
increments.
like, we don't want to hit again,
Yeah.
Right.
because school got bigger.
And everybody just got their property tax.
Yeah, I know, that's the bad part, I think that's maybe where Dr. Gaham was at too, like,
I know. it's not-
you know, your things just went up, let's not
It was
raise anymore.
approved by the community.
Yeah.
You can't, the Facebook police will shoot you down for that.
I understand. I was nothing but transparent through the whole referendum process. I never lied once.
No, but it's, you know, in 20 years, the school has grown, and you've got to.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know, and so what may have worked in 2010, in a class of 40, isn't gonna pay for the same licenses that are 10, 20, 30,000 for things they need.
Yep. And if you watch the video, which is, it's a great watch, it's 25 minutes of me talking to 2 people, just amazing. Okay, you're in there. We mentioned, because Joe did a lot of the legwork too. At that time, we found the elementary hadn't been addressed since 2007 maybe. The junior high, same thing like 2008, and even those were, so we basically had the same prices and things. And then in 2013, I think is when the high school had some kind of adjustment, but that was a consolidation of all the minor textbook fees into one. So as a district, you really haven't done anything in
And that's,
A decade.
he kind of looked around at the neighboring ones, and this didn't put us anywhere near them, but it put us up a little bit more adequately, and then like we had said, we'd ask, you know, at that time, okay, in another year or two, could you kind of get more finite numbers, like, what are we spending on licensure and stuff like that, like, what is it
Where
really
we
for
at?
a cost
Yeah.
per
Where are we
student?
at?
Because maybe instead of raising them all $20, maybe the elementary just needs to be raised and not the high school anymore, like, we want to get where we're just not blanketing anymore. But we had to do something because it just been so long. And getting all that kind of narrowed down and getting new curriculum and everything.
The school fees are steal, like, drivers at private's like $500.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Trust me, yes.
so, I mean, it starts at like $500-600, so
Yeah.
some of it, I think, is in perspective.
All about, this is Diachenko thing, it's all about perspective, you're 100% right.
I don't know, I don't want books to be like 30 years old, so.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, good news is, social studies book no longer has Bill Clinton as the president. We got rid of that. Yeah. 6 years ago, he was still the president according to that.
So that's what we have to decide on. Do we want to do the $20 increase, or we're just gonna, clean up the athletic fees? Because that was the one thing we did, last year, vote to kind of put the cap for the family and raise that, but that doesn't quite work with our payment process for Mr. DuBois. So instead of just putting the cap for the year, or I mean for the season, it's just for the year, because he can't lead it through the season.
And we may do this year by basically Brandon monitoring it, and I don't think we had to reimburse any families this year for it. I don't
I
remember.
think one or two maybe.
I know one or two were possible, but maybe he did, or maybe they added it to the next one.
It's just something easy we can take off of his plate, because it's an added workload that he would have to do, and just by doing this, it would no longer be something that had to be monitored or checked, something that slipped through the crack where someone was upset because they got overcharged or didn't get reimbursed. So it's something we have the technology to do it, we just have to do it the way they want it, and this would be doing that.
These fees are not, correct, they're not collected by us, they're collected by, now it's SNAP, I think is what it's called.
So does anyone have any feeling strongly one way or the other? Or I can just make the motion for the first one, we vote, and whatever it is tells me whether or not I have the second motion? Can we do that
Bells,
one?
you can go motion to that.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay, so I need a motion to approve the school year 24-25 fee schedule with a $20 increase at all 3 schools, plus consolidation of athletic fees to be $600 per year per family.
So moved.
Second.
Whitling,
Yes.
Buchenko,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Well, that made that easy.
All right, I will send the new schedule to Mr. Duncan, and we'll have that up on the website for registration.
Okay. And the next would be technology purchases.
So again, one of the main things we do over the summer is we do a lot of purchasing, because that's kind of when we do our things. A few of those we had to get in, make sure we could get them done over the summer. So the elementary school finishing up that project, they're adding a video system to it. They did the audio system last year, and at the high school doing the audio-visual system here. So all 3 buildings will then have it completely done. And then there's also the Chromebook, I think the Chromebooks are in this one as well, Katie? Chromebook purchases in this one? Or was that last month?
No, that,
Never mind.
we
So,
did the grant for that.
we already did the grant, so, sorry.
And we're just waiting for the PO, or the
There it is.
PO so that it can be paid.
So that's what's on here, the Chromebooks for last month, I apologize.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the technology purchases at the high school and elementary school as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Buchenko,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores. Yes. Whitling.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next we're moving on to our employment. Since I have a bunch of those. Are there any employment issues that need to be addressed separately? Everyone wants to take a look and see. No? Okay, now we'll move them together. Okay, so I need a motion to acknowledge the resignation of Danielle Ruff as the K-8 art teacher, Adam Keene as the junior high school assistant baseball coach, and Danielle Harrigan as an elementary school special education teacher.
So moved.
Second. Hanson,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores. Yes. Whitling.
Yes.
Buchenko.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, I need a motion to approve the employment of Amanda Alderfer as the elementary school second grade teacher, Nathan Stanula as the maintenance director, Brandon Stat as the IT systems administrator, and Daniel Palin as the high school boys basketball assistant coach.
So moved.
Second.
Herman,
Yes.
Belt,
Yes.
Flores. Yes. Flickling? Yes. Diachenko?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
That's on the next one. Got it. I need a motion to approve the assignment of Kristen Hodges as the K-8 art teacher.
So moved.
Second. Belt?
Yes.
Flores?
Yes.
Flickling? Yes. Diachenko? Yes. Hanson? Yes. Harmon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next is the first reading of the student handbooks, that all the administration kind of went over the changes. So I need a motion to approve the first reading of the student handbooks as submitted.
So moved. Second.
Flores?
Yes.
Flickling? Yes. Diachenko?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Harmon?
Yes.
Belt?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up, we have a change to the CARBS joint agreement due to a school.
St. Anne's,
Consolidating.
yeah, they went from a, to a unit district, so they have a new number. They just have to update the CARBS agreement.
And everyone has that, correct? In their thing? Or do I just-
Yeah, it's part of your.
Yeah. So, I need a motion to approve the CARBS joint agreement as submitted.
So moved. Second.
Flickling? Yes. Diachenko?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Harmon?
Yes.
Belt?
Yes.
Flores? Yes. Motion carried.
Okay, now we're on to other discussion items. So we have the high school drive traffic. which I think we
I
touched
mentioned,
on.
yep, I mentioned it in my board report, but I'll reiterate at the end of the meeting as well. The high school drive in particular. All the drives in our school district are one way. We don't have any problems at junior high or at the elementary school. At the high school, we continue to have some small problems with people not understanding it's one way. As a school district's representative in all matters, this is, I understand it's a public school, but it is private property. So they have to follow what we say they have to follow. And so I have engaged with the police department to make sure that the student safety and the people driving are safe in our high school drive. So this is my last plea to the public to please follow the one direction. I promise you, when we get it striped, seal coated and striped, they'll do directional parking so everybody knows the direction, but it is a one-way street going from Hodges to Miller. If you go the other way, I will get your driver's license and I will kindly, or your license plate, and I'll kindly ask someone to come and talk to you. So thank you so very much.
Okay, and then an update on the GRP HVAC timeline at the junior high.
Who was there? Nate Stinson, who did both of these buildings, Scott Engstrom, and then the contractors were here on last Tuesday. And they provided the timeline. They're going to start working second shift. They will be out of classrooms by mid-July, which puts us with plenty of time to be able to wax, clean, and move on with it. They had hoped to pour the pad last week. With weather, I don't think they got it done, so, but the pad is coming in pretty soon. So it looks like everything's set to go. The big thing I want you guys to be aware of is there will be a second shift working at the junior high. But we do have the alarms that are auto set, and we still have a night crew there anyway, so we have people in the building. It's the same premise as they did both these buildings. A lot less work at night.
You already kind of talked on the registration process, so.
I did, but like I said, so tomorrow you will be getting, Mr. Duncan will be sending out an email to all people who are currently enrolled in Beecher 200U, whether you are cleared or not cleared. Both of them will say the exact same thing, in regards to look for your email in July. We are doing in-person registration for residency for the not cleared or new students. That starts July 8th. It'll run through July, I have to look at the date, July 31st or August 2nd, whatever that Friday is. It's going to run through there. Our district hours over the summer are the same as last summer. They're going to be 8:30 to 2 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, and by Friday by appointment, primarily because the offices are closed on Friday. We don't have anybody in the office on Friday. At the high school office, even though we work, if you're going to show up, you're going to be banging on the door without getting in. So if you need to come in on Friday, simply call us and set up an appointment. But the goal is, I think we're going to look at about 60 to 70 families total, and so that's why it's a lot easier to be able to focus on those families. So that's all coming out tomorrow.
Does anyone have any items they want to make sure are added at the June board meeting? Do we need any committee meetings between now and then? Or no?
Last thing about the end of the year.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, this might be silly, but I'm sure we've all heard on the news about like Title IX changes. Does that have anything with that, or will it affect, when would it affect our district, or?
So,
do you know anything about that?
it's a great question. There's some legal webinars I'll be attending. I'm sure, I mean, there's not gonna be some massive overhauls that will be hitting us, but, there will be some things that we probably have to address within the confines of our sports agreements, but, I don't wanna say there's any overarching changes.
Okay.
I know there's some political changes in there, and the other thing a lot of the lawyers are coming out and saying is, this has been in the works forever. November, there could be a transition to a new governmental leadership, and so Title IX might look completely different by then as well, so. But I assure you, we'll always make sure that we're following every regulation. Great question.
Upcoming dates this Friday is the high school graduation at 7 p.m. at the high school.
Is everybody planning on attending that so I can make sure there's chairs? Okay.
Adriana, no, I'm just kidding.
May 21st, so the next week is the junior high promotion at 6:30. Is everyone planning on coming to that one?
I will not be at that one.
Yeah, I don't think I will either.
Can you just do me a favor, just send me an email, just and whether you can make it or not. I will make sure there's chairs for. I think it's actually just Ms. Diachenko. If you needed 4 seats, I think you already emailed Karen. You have an 8th grader, right? Andy?
Me, no, 7.
Okay, so nobody's an 8th grader. All right, so then never mind.
Okay. If that is all, need a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Second. I do that every time. I need to write second down here.
I'm sorry, who wanted to be first then?
Brandy and Larry, I heard 100%.
Got it written down.
She just goes flying through that.
I know. It's because I don't have a second here. I need the word second.
I'll take care
And I
of
will
that.
not be here for the 10th.
I'm gonna keep the seniors.
Are you going on vacation?